Right now, 29 states and the District of Columbia offer private school choice programs for parents. But that number may be increasing because this November, school choice amendments are on the ballot in a handful of states, including Kentucky. Home to our next guest, Jim Waters, president of the Bluegrass Institute for Public Policy Solutions. Jim, thanks for being with us this morning. Let's talk about this measure in Kentucky. From my understanding, this measure would essentially take away a prohibition on school choice in Kentucky. Is that correct?
Right. Amendment 2 does not create a specific school choice program. It simply clarifies that the Constitution cannot be interpreted as prohibiting such programs.
Now, Jim,
so that's right.
Talk to me about what you think the popularity of school choice would be in Kentucky. I know that in my home state of Texas, there was some hesitation in rural communities about allowing for school choice. Not the typical pushback you think of when it comes to teachers' unions, although that plays a role. But rural communities and school choice is still a conversation that is looking for some reconciliation. Is that fair?
Yeah, you know, all the polling that we've had here indicates that the idea of school choice is very popular. It runs about 60 to 70% across across the political spectrum among Democrats, Republicans, and independents. The issue is that I think there's been a false narrative offered by opponents that somehow or other school choice will harm public education, especially in rural communities. But across the nation, what we're finding is just the opposite, that the more choices parents have, the better the public education system performs. And we're finding that rural parents do have more options than conventional wisdom or than opponents sometimes even try to offer. So here we're going to see, I think, a lot more of those options if we have this amendment passed and we can move on and have school choice programs here.
Now, Jim, I think personally I come at this a unique perspective. I lived for many years in New York City, and my sons were beneficiaries of school choice. They went to a charter school. I also come from a rural community in Texas. And therefore, I hear a lot of the things people say, like, why should we pay for programs that don't affect our community or things like that? And in essence, a lot of people from small towns are like, well, this doesn't apply to me. Why should I support it?
Well, you know, the Brookings Institution recently found that almost 70% of rural families in America are within 10 miles or live within 10 miles of a non-public school. So we find that options are very popular even in rural areas. And we believe that if we have choices and give parents options, that we'll see more of those kinds of schools created. So, you know, we think across the board, whether you're in an urban area or a rural area, choices and options are very important, because what happens is when we have those options, it creates a certain dynamic that brings improvement to public education as well. So all students that.
Yeah, that dynamic, by the way, is competition and choice.
That's right.
Certainly been good for every other healthy aspect of our economy. Why not for education as well? All right, Jim, thank you. Thank you.
You have school choice in Kentucky. If you're wealthy, you can write that check to a non-public school. But parents who aren't need those options.
That's right. All right, we'll be watching how that vote goes in Kentucky. Thank you so much, Jim.
Have a good day. Thanks.